Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for making MTN a part of your Friday. I'm Tim McGonigal. First at 10, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died of complications from metastatic pancreatic cancer. She had survived multiple bouts with cancer, never shirking her duties on the bench. Ginsburg is being remembered as a champion of justice and a trailblazer for women. CBS's Natalie Brand takes a look at her life and legacy.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a star in the legal world, but most Americans learned her name in 1993 when President Bill Clinton tapped her for the Supreme Court.
I, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, do solemnly swear.
Poised and soft-spoken, she was a native New Yorker with a stellar resume and only the second woman ever picked for the nation's highest court. Decades earlier, after graduating from Columbia Law School, Ginsburg had to fight her way along her career path. She had the full support of her husband, Martin, but being Jewish, a woman, and a mother, she said were 3 strikes that put her out of the game. Rejected by law firms, she took a job as a law clerk, then a professor. In the 1970s, she started the Women's Rights Project at the ACLU.
Having experienced discrimination, she devoted the next 20 years of her career to fighting it.
Ginsburg took on a series of landmark cases dealing with gender equality. She argued 6 cases before the Supreme Court and won 5.
It contributes to the end of the days when women, at least half the talent pool in our society, appear in high places only as one-at-a-time performers.
One of the High Court's more liberal voices, Ginsburg consistently supported civil rights, and she issued a strong dissent in the Bush versus Gore case, which decided the 2000 election. Ginsburg had several health scares. In 2018, doctors removed 2 growths from her lungs, causing her to miss 6 days in court. She survived colon cancer and 2 incidents involving pancreatic cancer. Her refusal to step down and her unparalleled work ethic earned her pop culture icon status.
It was beyond my wildest imagination that I would one day become the notorious RBG.
Ginsburg lost her husband in 2010 after 56 years of marriage, but she was back in court a few months later for what she called an exhilarating development, when Justices Kagan and Sotomayor joined her on the High Court. Another milestone for the women's movement, which Ginsburg helped pioneer. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Closer to home, another passing to tell you about tonight. Mike Tillman, one of the legends of Montana football, died this morning at the age of 76. Tillman was born and raised near Zurich and starred for Chinook High School in the late 1950s and early 1960s. He was an all-conference defensive lineman for the University of Montana and played 11 years in the NFL with Minnesota, New Orleans, the Houston Oilers, and Atlanta. Tillman has been a longtime supporter of the MSU Northern football program. He was honored last month at a ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the Light's new football field, which will be named Tillman Field. And you can read more about the life and legacy of Mike Tillman at montanasports.com. With 224 cases since yesterday, the state of Montana is reporting its highest daily coronavirus total since it began keeping statistics in March. And late this afternoon, the Great Falls School District announced that another COVID-19 positive case associated with Great Falls High has been reported. The case has forced cancellation of Bison girls volleyball games this weekend and next, with all volleyball practices also canceled. The district says state requirements for contact tracing, isolation, and quarantining of students will be followed. The necessary sanitation of appropriate facilities and equipment will occur over the weekend. Meanwhile, Great Falls Central Catholic High School is also among the latest to announce that it has a confirmed case of COVID-19 in the school. According to the school, the Cascade City County Health Department identified 8 students for contact tracing, mostly on the football team. Not all of Central's football players are affected, but the team will reschedule tonight's game at Choteau and next week's game at Fort Benton. At the time of the announcement, there were no new dates confirmed to play those games. Central's next game will be their homecoming, October 3rd, against Cascade. And businesses continue to feel the impacts of the pandemic. The Original Montana Club in downtown Helena announced that they will be temporarily closing beginning Friday. In a press release, the club stated capacity limits set by health directives have impacted the club. They admitted the ongoing challenges of the pandemic to keep customers and staff safe while maintaining quality service. The Montana Club plans to reopen near the holidays. They are selling stock to prepare for the holiday season. In political news, the contentious issue of right-to-work laws reared its head this week in the Montana race for governor. MTN News obtained a tape recording in which the running mate of Republican gubernatorial candidate Greg Gianforte says Gianforte would not veto a right-to-work bill if the legislature passed it. But Gianforte says that's not his position. MTN's Mike Dennison has more.
Gianforte's running mate, attorney Kristen Juris, was speaking at a campaign stop in Sydney on Wednesday when she was asked whether she supports right-to-work laws. A right-to-work law says employees cannot be required to financially support or join a union that bargains for them at the workplace. On the tape, Juris said she did support right-to-work laws, and then said Gianforte had budget and other issues that were more important, but that, quote, the legislators could bring it, and if the legislators bring it, Greg wouldn't veto right-to-work, unquote. Juris told MTN News Friday that she should have clarified that she has not spoken to Gianforte about the issue before making that statement. Juris and the Gianforte campaign also said the recording obtained by MTN News had been edited and left out a lot else of what she said. Most importantly, she said several times that a right-to-work law is not a priority for her or Gianforte. She says she also noted that a 2018 U.S. Supreme Court ruling has settled a key right-to-work issue already, saying employees cannot be required to financially support unions that bargain for their pay or work conditions. Organized labor strongly opposes right-to-work laws and says their intent is to undermine and damage labor unions. The Gianforte campaign said if the legislature passes any right-to-work bill, he'd give it the same consideration as any bill. Gianforte is running against Democrat Mike Cooney, who has said he would veto any right-to-work bill passed by lawmakers. Organized labor and many individual labor unions have endorsed Cooney and are opposing Gianforte for governor. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The Cooney campaign says the recording shows that Gianforte is misleading voters about where he stands on the right-to-work and labor issues. Will the weekend usher in the exit of hazy, smoke-filled skies? Let's check in with MTN's Elizabeth Copeland for our first forecast.
Another smoky night across our Opportunity Bank iCam out of the capital city, where now it's dark, but you can still make out some of the smoke, especially under the street lights that have since come on. Seeing that sunset a little earlier, heading closer to winter, but temperatures are remaining warm for now. They'll drop in just a few minutes here, and we'll talk about those. But we do have some upgraded air qualities, or at least downgraded air qualities in the capital city. Now we're at unhealthy with the rest of central Montana, either at unhealthy for sensitive groups or moderate. So we're still seeing that smoke move in, even though our system is changing. We're getting some more of that wind starting to push in, even some rain across western Montana, which will slowly make its way into central Montana. So we can expect a few isolated showers tonight, at least for north central and southwest Montana, not quite making it to the northeast corner tonight. And then tomorrow, widespread showers continue to push through 69 as that cooler air starts to move in. And by Sunday, showers move out, but better air quality settles in on Sunday afternoon. And we talk more about that coming up shortly.
The battle for Montana's top law enforcer is on. Coming up, a preview of Sunday's Attorney General debate.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. This Sunday, Montana residents will learn more about the two candidates vying for the Attorney General's seat. MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison interviewed Democrat Rafe Graybill and Republican Austin Knutson over Zoom earlier this month. The two candidates are both practicing lawyers with experience ranging from arguing in the Montana Supreme Court to serving as House Speaker. Graybill lives in Helena. He is chief legal counsel for Governor Steve Bullock. Knutson resides in Culbertson, where he serves as the Roosevelt County Attorney. During the half-hour debate, the two share their stances on issues including Department of Justice budget reallocation, Montana's methamphetamine problem, health care, public lands, and even voter registration. It was also a chance for the candidates to ask each other questions they believe deserved answers.
Austin, you have closed access to a veterans park in your hometown of Culbertson, and you're now suing that same group of veterans to block their access. In sworn court statements, those vets said that in 2016, when you were Speaker of the House, you verbally accosted them. Is that true, or are these vets liars?
Rafe, your entire experience in Montana is acting as Governor Bullock's chief legal counsel. We now know that one of Governor Bullock's former chief advisors was involved in fairly serious sexual harassment allegations, and that has gone on to other positions that he's been moved on to. Did you advise Governor Bullock to cover up the story of the sexual harassment allegations against one of his top staffers? And are you covering up any other allegations that we're going to learn about down the road?
And you can watch the debate for Attorney General between Republican Austin Knudsen, Democrat Rafe Graybill during Face the State. Join MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison Sunday morning at 9:30. Or you can watch now with the KRTV streaming app for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. Download your free copy today. Well, this weekend will mark a first for one local nonprofit trying to make up for lost revenue this year due to the coronavirus. The Great Falls YWCA will kick off a virtual week-long auction Saturday. Items include everything from meat to a bicycle. Bowls that people would normally purchase during the organization's Empty Bowls fundraiser will also be available. Fundraising events were canceled this year because of the virus, and that's created a roughly $30,000 budget shortfall for the YWCA.
We run the Mercy Home Shelter for women and children. We offer a lot of other programming like self-defense and exercise programs. So it means not being able to offer programs to the people that need it.
To find out how you can participate in the auction, you can click on the link to this story on our website.
Rain moves in tonight, settles in for Saturday, but we track when the wildfire smoke moves out coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Welcome back. We made it to Friday evening, but we're still dealing with a little smoke in our skies as smoke from the wildfires in the west still filter in for the next couple of hours or so, even though changes are on the way. So we're still tracking air quality alerts in effect through Saturday morning. That does include Great Falls, the capital city, and really most of western Montana and north central Idaho. So that smoke's still piling in here, but there are changes on the way, and there is an end to this smoky skies, or at least very thick smoke in our forecast, and that comes a little later this weekend. But right now, talking about that rain, our next system is moving in, bringing moisture, cooler air. We're already seeing that wind pick up in western Montana. A few spotty showers starting to make it closer to Butte and the capital city. Now, a lot of those won't be hitting the ground initially, still pretty dry at the surface, but this moisture or system is going to really push in later on tonight, early Saturday morning. That's when the bulk of the moisture is really going to kick through. So for Great Falls, we're actually well below average, about 0.3 of an inch, closer to 0.4 of an inch below average, and we usually should be right about 0.86. So about 0.8 of an inch usually this time of month for the at least year. So we're going to see a lot more of that wetter weather really help out our drought conditions. But right now our drought is actually pretty widespread, and we're talking dry to moderate conditions across most of north central northeast Montana. The northeast Montana just upgraded to moderate today. Parts of the High Line closer to Havre. The rest of north central southwest Montana really closer to that dry mark. So we need the rain. We really need that rain to move through. Again, well below average for the month, and that was the same situation last month. And we're going to get some help with this next system. Not going to be very widespread, but we're definitely going to get some help, especially Saturday afternoon. So we're going to see the bulk of that moisture mostly fall through southwest Montana, closer to the Butte area. And by Saturday at 10 a.m., we'll still see that moisture really hugging closer to the Rocky Mountain front. Some of these darker greens then making it into central Montana, north central Montana, and the High Line before finally starting to shift closer to the northeast. Northeast really is going to get a lot more of that rain closer to the Saturday evening mark. A couple of clouds are finally going to filter in on Saturday, but the bulk of the moisture stays across north central Montana and the High Line Monday afternoon before heading off into north central Montana a little later on Saturday evening, shifting all that moisture and cooler air really widespread across the state again by about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So even jumping into our extended forecast, we've got some more moisture on the way. We're not done with it yet, but we are going to have a short round of it at least Saturday into Sunday morning. And then looking out a little further, 6 to 10 day outlook, we're going to have some more of that moisture moving into western Montana first. And there's some more chances later on in the week for north central and northeast Montana, but we're all going to have a very high likelihood, especially across northeast and central Montana, for warmer than average conditions. So while this weekend is going to look cooler and wet, we're going to have a lot more of those warm temperatures rebound right back as we head into midweek next week. So 69 on Saturday, again, rain in the forecast for Great Falls, 70 on Sunday. And then Monday, we'll see that sunshine as that ridge starts to build back in. Sunday, again, going to be the best bet for the best air quality on Sunday afternoon. That doesn't mean that the smoke is going to be completely gone, but it's going to be the bluest sky we've seen at least in a week. 78 on Tuesday, and then that ridge of high high pressure keeps us dry and warm through Thursday. We'll hit 83 by midweek next week. So in the capital city, 66 tomorrow. Again, showers moving in tonight throughout the afternoon and even evening on Saturday evening, moving out Sunday morning. We'll keep in those 70s through next Wednesday and then hit 80s on Thursday as that high pressure builds back in.
Friday Night Football features a possible playoff preview. Stay tuned. Highlights are next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Week 4 of Montana's high school football season featured some marquee matchups on the AA level, and in Class C, a battle of the unbeatens highlighted the schedule. MTN's Tom Wiley kicks off our Friday night coverage from Belt.
Belt and Fort Benton both 3-0 entering week 4 of the 8-man season. So even though it is just week 4, this game could mean a conference title. And wouldn't you know it, it's a battle in the early going. First play of the game came at Evans, hits Bridger Vogel on the 40-yard bomb. Huskies deep in Fort Benton territory, but they cannot turn that drive into points. Here's the first Longhorn drive. It's 4th and 10 from the 15. A little trickery. Hayden Decons takes the handoff and finds Andrew Ballantyne in space. He would score, and Fort Benton is on top 6-0. Second quarter, Belt the other way. Evans powers his way in on the keeper. The conversion is good for Belt, so the Huskies go on top, 8-6. Back and forth we go. Billy Euler recalls his own number under center, and it ends in points. Fort Benton takes the lead right back on the touchdown, 14-8. Belt trying to answer before half, but Aiden McDaniel is going to be picked off by Morgan Axtman. Longhorns hold on to the lead at the break. This game a battle throughout. Here's a look at your final score. Reporting from Belt, Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Billings West is paying a visit to Memorial Stadium this Friday, taking on Great Falls CMR in week 2 of your Eastern AA action. Now both teams come in 1-0 after sizable wins last week. Let's dive into the action.
Bears went 3 and out to start. Here come the Rustlers. Rafe Newbro throwing across the field for Wyatt Hagen, but Max Kimball swoops in for the pick. Bears are in business. Teams traded punts for a while, but here's Jamin Medlock from short distance for West. He's in no problem. Golden Bears up 7-0. Second quarter now. Bad Rustler snap sets up West again. Look at the spin move from Michael DeLeon crashing into the goal line. West up 13-0. Late in the second now. 20-0 your score. Isaiah Clonch airs it out to Neil Daly. Touchdown from 17 yards out. Their second connection of the half. West led 27-0 at the break. And check out your final score. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
Hello everybody, Casey Conlon here at Dela Stadium with seniors still at home tonight after their impressive season opening win last week against defending AA champion Bozeman. It's homecoming for the Broncs tonight as they host Great Falls High. The Bison looking to spoil the festivities early. Opening drive, Ryan Cray takes the handoff around the left side, breaking tackles, and he's in for a 7-0 lead. Seniors turn to respond, and they do. Junior Bergen hits Sam Jacobson over the middle. He brings it inside the 5. Bergen would score a play later to tie it up. Then after the Broncs force a 3 and out, Seniors offense back in the red zone. They go Rambo on short yardage, but Bergen bounces outside, finds pay dirt again to give Senior a 14-7 lead, but he saves his best for the second quarter. Bergen keeps this one. Looks like he's headed out of bounds, but jukes 2 defenders and takes off. Then watch the hurdle at the end. Bergen showing all his athleticism to start the season. He can chuck it too. 3 plays later, Bergen to his favorite target, Jackson Berkeley. Too easy on the post. Broncs up 21-7. Then with under 10 seconds in the half, it's the same connection. This time on the fade, Berkeley just too big and strong for the Bison DB. 28-7 at half. Senior with another impressive win as they move to 2-0. In Billings.
It's another Friday night in the capital city, which means we've got high school football. Helena High playing host to the Missoula Big Sky Eagles right here at Vigilante Stadium. Both teams looking to stay undefeated early in their season. Only one's going to walk out a winner. So let's do this, shall we?
Helena High off and running early in this one. Caden Hewitt hands off to Ethan Maxness, who hammers his way into the end zone up the middle to make it 7-0. The Bengals keep rolling in this first half. Hewitt scrambles, finds Dexter Tedesco over the middle. He works his way into the end zone for the touchdown. It's 14-0. But hold on a minute, here come the Eagles. Colton Giannaccaro goes top shelf, finds Louis Sanders in the back of the end zone. It's 14-7, but the Bengals not letting off the gas in this one. Hewitt on the design scramble to the near side, finds Tedesco again for his second score of the night to make it 21-7. And here is your final score. Reporting in Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
I'm here at Missoula County Public Stadium for week 2 of the Class AA high school football season, and we've got a good one here tonight in Missoula as the Sentinel Spartans are looking to move to 2-0, taking on the Capital Bruins, looking for their first win of the season. Senior night for the Spartans, and they came to play tonight. First offensive snap of the game, Soren Siverud takes the handoff, makes a cut, and he is off 45 yards down to the Bruins' 25-yard line. That would set up the quarterback sneaker for Camden Sermon, 7-0, Sentinel out to an early lead. And then how about some defense? Capital's first drive, Siverud punches the ball loose, Spartans jump on it and recover in Capital territory. Then Dayton Bay at quarterback now, hands off to Jace Klusewicz on the end around option, and he beats his man to the pylon for 6, Spartans up 14-0. Second quarter action now, Bay this time again, slings it to the corner, Peyton Stevens taps the toes for another touchdown, Spartans' 4th TD of the half. They go into the half with a commanding 28-0 lead. That's all for me here at MCPS. Reporting in Missoula, Jack Ginsburg, MTN Sports.
And for more scores and highlights from games all across the Treasure State, simply head on over to montanasports.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Moves in on Saturday afternoon and evening. Rainy conditions last through Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then we're going to start to see that high pressure build back in. So the best day for air quality this week will be Sunday. Not completely smoke free, but much better than as we ended the work week today. 78 by next Wednesday, 80 by next Thursday.
Well, the company that makes Monopoly announced a new version of the game that allows players to channel their inner Disney villain. Hasbro and Disney teamed up to create a villains version of the game, where players can choose from Cruella, Jafar, Scar, Hook, and others. The company also created versions of the game for Lion King and the Avengers. The new version made some changes to showcase the Disney theme, but the goal remains the same, to have money left when others go bankrupt. The game is now on sale. And that's all the time we have for you on this Friday night. Good evening. Have a great night.